Recently, Microsoft announced they're laying off over 9,000 people, and a good chunk is from the Xbox division. It's hard to conceive of 10 people losing their jobs in one go, let alone 9,000. And if we add it to the first round of layoffs from earlier this year, a total of 15,000 people have lost their jobs in 2025 so far. Bloomberg has also published an article reporting that 50% of their 10 studios, the studio behind Forza Motorsport, were let go as part of the layoffs. But here's the catch. According to Jason Schreier, who published the article, this 50% that's no longer with the studio were the ones in charge of the development of Forza Motorsport. The other 50% who remain at the studio are there to provide support for Forza Horizon. If these numbers Jason published in his article turn out to be accurate, Forza Motorsport is probably done. You can't continue developing a game with a team that doesn't exist anymore. It's such a ridiculous situation when you think about it. Microsoft is one of the largest companies in the entire world. Right now they're valued at nearly 4 trillion US dollars. 4 trillion. And despite everything that's been going on with their gaming side, Xbox is far from struggling financially. In a letter Phil Spencer himself sent to employees following the layoffs, he talks about the success of the Xbox division. And it's so tone-deaf and infuriating, but unfortunately, that's our reality right now, and it'll probably get worse. However, in this video, I wanted to analyze Forza Motorsport isolated from what's been going on, layoffs, Microsoft bullshit, and all that crap. It's undeniable that Forza Motorsport has been going through the motions for a while now. The series hit its peak with Forza Motorsport 4, and since then, it's been getting worse with each game. Right up until a few years ago, we used to get a brand new Forza Motorsport every 2 years. They broke this cycle with the last game supposedly to allow more development time, and with that, people's expectations of a return to form grew higher. Unfortunately, the expectations didn't match reality. When Forza Motorsport launched in 2023, it was in such a broken state I had never seen anything like that in the series before. Forza Motorsport games used to come out relatively free of major bugs and performance issues. This one marks the first time a game in the series launched with so many problems it was literally impossible to play for a while. Leading up to the game's launch, the developers promised a return to the classic Forza Motorsport we love, but what we ended up getting was a game missing many of the features we came to expect, like the auction house, clubs, and the event calendar. It was clearly a game released before it was ready. From this point of view, it's difficult to be upset for losing something we never really got. Forza Motorsport 2023 is a Forza game in name only. The end of Forza Motorsport is just a speculation, but let's assume that's how things are going to play out. They announced the game won't get any more feature and content updates, no more patches. It's the end of the road for Forza Motorsport. So, what happens? The series is dead and that's it? Maybe. Right now, I believe the best course of action for this series, if that ends up happening, is to shelve the franchise for a while. And perhaps in a distant future, preferably under new leadership at both Microsoft and Xbox, a new studio take the reins of the franchise. For as much as we've complained about the state of Forza Motorsport in these last few years, one thing I think we can all agree on, and it's that there is a very particular feeling that only exists in Forza Motorsport. And this feeling only exists because Turn 10 knows how to make Forza Motorsport feel like Forza Motorsport. Even when everything else is falling apart, they know how to capture the essence of the series, which isn't something easy to do. It's not just any studio that would be able to take over the franchise and keep that sense of familiarity we know and love. It's a risk. But at the same time, we already have an example where that worked with Playground Games. The studio came out of nowhere with the announcement of the first Forza Horizon back in 2012, and I remember I was worried that it could be just a cash grab that looked and felt nothing like Forza. And I was happy to be proven wrong. As soon as it booted up Forza Horizon, I could tell everything I loved about the series was there. The handling, the way the cars behaved, most of the systems, the essence, everything was there, just under a new direction. What Playground Games managed to achieve with Forza Horizon right out of the gate proves that the right team is perfectly capable of taking over a franchise they have no prior experience with, and still make you feel familiar. And in my opinion, that's exactly what needs to happen with Forza Motorsport. It feels that every time Turn 10 Studios developers talk about an upcoming game, it's always about numbers. It's always about how the physics are X times more detailed or how something else was X amount better. Then the game comes out, and although we could tell that there was a difference, it didn't amount to anything. It was much of the same, just numbers for numbers' sake. It's weird how it seems they never understood that the physics were never really the problem with the game. Of course, a lot of people dislike Forza physics, but fans enjoy Forza precisely because of the physics. The problem with the series has always been the lack of soul. It's like the series lost everything that gave it a sense of personality, starting with Forza Motorsport 5. Everything that made Forza peak with the fourth game, like the event calendar, the mini-games, the auction house, and the clubs, gave way to games that lacked any sense of direction, filled with cars and tracks just for the sake of beefing up the numbers, in the hopes that it would reflect in sales. We're in 2025, the competition grew in numbers and it's stronger than ever. You can't sell a game on its name alone, this doesn't work anymore. Forza Motorsport stagnated in such a manner that the only way I can see it having a future is under a new team with new ideas. And it's been nearly 2 years since the latest Forza Motorsport came out. It still has a ton of bugs that need to be fixed, especially on PC. The AI is one of the worst I've seen in a racing game in recent years. Lots of features that were promised are still yet to be delivered, and the game still suffers from performance issues. And to make it worse, we have no idea if any of that is ever going to be addressed following the news of the mass layoffs. Assuming there's still a skeleton crew left behind to handle the game moving forward, it's hard to see a future where we get to see it prosper. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we got an official announcement of the end of support for the game in the upcoming months. It's truly depressing. Forza Motorsport is one of the most beloved racing game franchises and one I've loved for over 15 years. It's maddening to see a behemoth like Microsoft, a company that's worth nearly $4 trillion, act like the job cuts were necessary to their survival.